Welcome to the podcast. We've got fun and games. Here I am, Josh Call, and to my left, a mere probably 7,000 miles away, is Mr. Dave Nichols. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I think to my left is an interesting way to describe where I am. So,
well, I looked on the map, looked where I was positioned, and somewhere to my left, can't see you, can't
That's
feel
true.
you,
Yeah.
but you're there.
What a weird start. Yeah, I am. I am somewhere off to your left-hand side if you look at a map. So.
And how are you? I've heard you've been packing some fudge into your mouth, you were saying.
I've just had an ice cream because it's really hot and the ice cream had fudge sauce on it. And welcome to food talk again.
Yeah.
It had some fudge sauce on it and it just got stuck in my throat a little bit. So when Josh and I
So
started
we're talking a bowl of ice cream. We're talking a kind of a Magnum type thing. What are we talking, Dave? I need to know.
It was a McDonald's, who don't sponsor the podcast. It was a McDonald's ice cream fudge sundae thing left over from yesterday or the day before in the freezer. So
left over? What are you leaving McDonald's stuff? I've never known this.
I think I just put it in the. I think when it arrived, because I got it delivered, obviously, I put it in the freezer and then I forgot about it. And I was looking today
that's
for
much
something
more acceptable
because we've got fruit pastel lollies as well, which are amazing. And I was going to get one of them after my lunch, and there was my leftover fudge sundae. I was like, yeah, I'll have that. Winner.
So since moving to Singapore, has your ice cream ice lolly intake increased?
Massively gone up. Yeah, massive. I would say 150%, maybe increase.
150%. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's impressive. Yeah.
I mean, it's hot today, Josh. It's hot. I sent you a text earlier. 32 degrees.
Yeah.
Feels like 41. It is ridiculously hot. And tomorrow,
but
just before we get onto the news, tomorrow, obviously I'm still injured, but my football team here have a cup final, and it's a 1 o'clock kickoff.
Oh, that's dangerous. Dangerous, if anything.
It's dangerous. You get a drinks break after every 20 minutes. So 20 minutes, then 45, then 65, and then 90 minutes.
Oh, he's done the maths.
So I've done the maths.
Yeah.
Maths, Josh. There's an S on the end of it. We're not American.
Mm-hmm.
But we are a global podcast, though. That's not me insulting Americans.
Oh, well done, Dave. God, well recovered.
Well saved. All
right, well, we've covered all the we'll move on to the news. So yeah, we're going to cover some news items this week, and we're recording today on this Saturday before the Premier League's game. So we'll quiz as usual, but we'll review a slightly busy, interesting week in Champions League football.
I don't know what you're on about, Josh. Boring. It was boring.
Boring, yeah.
Nothing
absolutely.
of interest, yeah.
Imagine if we were PSG or Real Madrid fans, we'd be like, no, this podcast ain't happening this week.
Cancel it this week, yeah.
We then have a WIKI FILES, where I have adhered to the rules, I think, unless I'm about to be told otherwise. Yeah. And speaking of rules, we'll then move on to discussion around some rule changes that have come in this week, and what our thoughts on them, and any other issues around it. So we'll get started with the news. Dave, anything caught your eye?
Oh, it's hard not to focus on the Champions League, so I'm glad we've got a bit to talk about that later. So we'll go in with a European-based thing, and we'll go financial fair play and Man City, because they're in the news again. They're being investigated again. I don't even know how they got out of it so easily last time. I say easily. I think they got a fine, and their Champions League squad was reduced
down,
2 people or something. Yeah. So I mean, are they ever going to be found really
this
guilty?
is now the Premier League investigating them, isn't it? And because I think it was like 5-6 years ago, they I think 12, 13 clubs agreed to these rules, and so it got put into ruling around losses over a certain amount of time, money spent on wages, and they said at the time, potential, if you found to break these rules, potential points deduction, then limiting on wage.
Yeah,
I don't know. It is. You've put these rules in. You've got to be brave when you're then dishing out the punishment. So.
But there's you look into it, and there's so many opportunities for if I was a football club like Man City, Man United, whoever, these global conglomerate football teams that are businesses, there are so many, it appears, loopholes around the rules that were written. It's just ridiculously, like, I mean, because technically, if Man City get a sponsorship from, Emirate Airways or Qatari Airways or whoever, Abu Dhabi Airways, then it's a sponsorship agreement, and in the contract of financial fair play, that's not illegal because it's income.
No, I mean, I suppose you'd have to look at the kind of arm's length transaction, whether it's I mean, how out of the ordinary is it, and kind of revalue it. But yeah, I suppose there could be collusion between clubs, like the PSG owners and the Man City owners. Parent companies or associated companies sponsor each other, and it's. Okay, let's narrow it down to let's narrow it down to this, then, Dave. Do you think Man City will face any punishment, tangible punishment, this season?
No, not this season.
No. And so, do you think they'll be punished? And do you think we will actually see some strong punishment on them within for next season? Then, do you reckon points deduction? Do you reckon that is an option?
No, I don't reckon they'll get a points deduction. I think because if they do, they'll appeal anyway, so it won't come into play next season. I think. I don't know. I think they'll have better lawyers than the Premier League, and I don't think anything will happen. I think football clubs are such multi-million pound businesses that they can pay. They can pay for the best. They can. Yeah. They'll be able to out lawyer the Premier League, so to say.
Yeah.
And UEFA lawyer up exactly, and then it will just go to like the court of arbitration for sport, and I don't know. The one thing that I think, if they do get really fined, it's good because the laws have been not fined, but punished to some actual measurable degree. I mean, fining Man City is like, I can't even think of an equivalent because they've got so much money.
Well, it's like when a rich person gets a speeding fine for 50 quid, you're like, well, what is the point? Or a parking ticket for 50 quid. It's like, I think in some Scandinavian countries, it's a direct correlation to your tax return as a percentage.
Okay, that's,
that has some
makes
more
sense.
So we don't think that Man City are going to get punished. But the other bit I would say is that other clubs who voted for it have written to the going to happen with Man City. So I think if there's the weight of the league clubs behind it, then that pushes the Premier League to make a stronger decision. But yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, but what can the Premier? What's why we're on it? Before we move on, what can the Premier League do?
If they've got
a points deduction, but
they can do that. Yeah.
Will they do it retrospectively for this season?
No chance. I can't see that. I can't see them wanting that kind of. Well, it would be far too strong. I couldn't see them doing it because it would effectively, at this point, with such a tight league at the top there, it would decide a title. Which I mean, Liverpool fans, would you want that? I don't know.
I think Liverpool fans would take anything to win the title. Yeah,
but in your heart of hearts, I think you do. Every time you mention it, everybody goes, "Oh, it's only because City got points deduction." It's not the honourable way of winning it. I personally would it would be somewhat tarnished if that was the case.
Yeah, true. While we're talking about it, are the Premier League investigating Man City for financial fair play, or are they investigating them for the Jadon Sancho thing, or are they investigating them for both?
Definitely a financial play piece,
okay.
And then I thought it was the FIFA element was linked to similar with Chelsea, the transfer dealings.
Right, okay, fair enough.
Which we'll move on to. So Chelsea have had their obviously a transfer ban mooted for their way they've been purchasing under 18 players, and they had their request to suspend the transfer ban until the appeal was heard denied, which
is a first, I think.
Shocked around, yeah, because in similar cases, because the Spanish clubs have been involved, FIFA granted provisional measures, which meant transfer bans were not enforced during the appeal process. But no, they've been. I mean, they can still now go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport to grant an interim ruling. So I wouldn't say this as done and dusted, but it's nice to see rules being.
But have you seen have you heard of the evidence that FIFA have found? So obviously, when Real Madrid did it, I think there was evidence of 2 transfers, and therefore they allowed the appeal to happen. With Chelsea, apparently FIFA has found 29 cases They investigated 92, and 29 of them were found to include payments for under 18 foreign players breaking the rule thing. So it's just if it's sort of like a court of law, I guess, isn't it? If they think you're that hazardous because you've done a crime so bad, they don't give you parole or whatever it's called.
You're a flight risk or something.
Flight risk. Yeah. So they obviously think Chelsea are a flight risk.
I think there's a massive irony here is that this is all for buying under 18 players, and this is a Chelsea side who rarely give opportunities to young players.
It'd be interesting to see how many of the 29 cases that FIFA found for Chelsea to be guilty, how many of them are still playing at Chelsea.
Yeah, how many are in their loan army? Yeah. Which now they may have to use. You know, there are 40 odd players out on loan. They might have to actually use some of them now.
Well, that's very true. Yeah, I guess if you're a young player at Chelsea, you're probably thinking, quid's in.
Yeah, but I think the issue, if this is imposed, it takes one of the elements, because Chelsea chop and change managers and they buy and sell players in quite high volumes for a top flight club.
Yeah. And
so they can still chop and change managers, but if they take that kind of one arm away from that chopping and changing players, it changes things dramatically. I think as a makeup of a club, like, is Sarri the right guy to bring players through and deal with do a Tottenham and not buy any players for a little while? I mean, that kind of affects the manager. But I mean, I don't know. It's something for you might see a change in manager, because if they are found guilty and not allowed to buy players, do they have a change in methodology?
But who? Yeah, I agree. I think he could be replaced to find a manager. But is there anybody with a track? It's hard to find a manager with a track record.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You're the first person you say is Pochettino. No way he'd move to Chelsea from Spurs, no matter how much money I think they threw at the situation. Guardiola, no way he would move. And then you're looking abroad, and it's like, well, he's bought through. I'm thinking of the guy who currently manages in Hoffenheim, I think it is, who took over. Who's quite a young manager, but he's never bought through like English players or people that have been based in Britain. So
Nagelsmann,
that's it. Julian Nagelsmann, yeah. So it's tough.
Well, maybe it'll be the other way around then. Maybe it'll be that you might have thought about changing the manager, but you won't change the manager because you want to maintain the stability, because what's the new manager going to come in and do?
That's true.
It might be a saving grace for Sarri.
I think that might be more likely. Okay. The only problem they do have, obviously, is if the transfer ban does stand, then he's going to continue to play Jorginho ahead of Kante at holding midfield, which is just mental.
Yeah. So, But talking of potential Chelsea managers being sacked, a previous Chelsea manager was sacked and has now found himself back in management. Claudio Ranieri is back. He's failed upwards. He is at Roma after their, spoiler alert, Champions League defeat midweek. They got rid of the manager, and Roma have then moved for Claudio Ranieri.
8 days.
This just follows on from I talked last week about Claudio Ranieri's mad career.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. 8 days after being sacked by Fulham, he's it's not even landing on your feet, is it? It's like landing on a cloud that's flying. It's ridiculous. Like, how I just don't. Is it all because he's won the league with Leicester? I know he has history in Italy, but it's...
Yeah, and he did well at Roma previously. I think this is a kind of caretaker manager to the end of the season. Just safe pair of hands, just steady the ship, and see it through.
Unless he gets them into the top four and they get the Champions League, and then he stays, and then...
Not everybody is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right?
No, that's true. We'll get onto him later. Not everyone is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's at the wheel. Go on, United.
Oh God. But just a mention of kind of coming and doing well. Obviously, we spoke previously about Monaco and Thierry. Record there. Have you seen what they're doing now?
I haven't even really been paying attention to it.
Yeah, so they're now up to 16th now, 6 points clear of relegation.
Just needed to fire and rehire a manager. That's all it took.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
So, if ever in doubt.
Well done, Leonardo Jardim. Come in, didn't care that he got sacked, came in and started winning. So, what does Thierry Henry think? Right, final bit of news from me, and it's some bloody good news, because Tottenham have stadium news. We're moving into a stadium. Woohoo!
I mean, to be honest, it's good news for everybody, because fuck me, I'm bored of it. It's like Brexit.
Yeah.
Oh, just hurry up and finish the
Will
stadium
they,
so Spurs can play there. Yeah, exactly. But yes, well done, Josh. You're
Yeah.
happy. Talk us through it.
Okay, so it's all dependent on Brighton's performance in their FA Cup quarter-final match. So if they win their FA Cup quarter-final match, they will play Crystal Palace on midweek. If they lose, we'll play Brighton a few days later at the weekend, subject to our Champions League scheduling. So by the 7th of April, our next home game, we would have played at Wembley. We wouldn't be playing Wembley, bloody hell, Christ. We'll be playing at whatever the new stadium is named. Rumour has it was going to be named Nike Stadium, but that seemed to have been quashed, so I'm intrigued.
New White Hart Lane, isn't it? I thought it was going to be called.
Yeah.
I thought it was literally just going to be called New White Hart Lane.
Nike Hearts Kane.
No. Oh, God.
What do you think with...
They should have done a naming, like Boaty McBoatface.
Yes.
Spursy McSpurs ground.
Surely White Hart Lane would have just thrashed that. What are your thoughts on kind of sponsored stadium names? And
I think it's when it's a new stadium, I think I'm much more open to the idea, like the Emirates Stadium, and things like that. I think when it's like a famous, or what you consider to be a famous old stadium, like Old Trafford would never be right to be called like the DHL Arena or something. Whereas, like, they did St James's Park for Newcastle, became Sports Direct at St James's Park. Everyone still just called it St James's Park. I think when the news,
absolutely, that's the thing.
And with Spurs is a good example. If they do call it, the Nike Stadium, then fair enough. What does it matter? It's not had any heritage behind it to get rid of that name. I'd prefer they didn't call it that, because Spurs have quite a heritage as a club. But I can understand the money now because it's football. And it's a new stadium.
We're 100% going to be named something sponsored. We've got an NFL team will be playing here. And looking at the list of NFL stadiums, AT&T Stadium, Bank of America Stadium.
But it's different in America because the companies with the NFL, the companies can help donate money to help build the stadium. So that it doesn't have to go to the taxpayer. So they get their name on it straight from the off. And I don't think you can do that in the UK. I think the UK it all has to be self-funded, as it were.
Okay, but isn't that the same as paying a large sponsorship amount after?
Yeah, true. I guess, yeah, very true.
Yeah,
very true. So.
Yeah, and for me, you can call a stadium whatever you want, really. If so just because someone tells you it's called Nike Stadium, you can still go, I'm going to White Hart Lane. I mean, how many? I mean, Upton Park Bowling Ground. I mean, Andy Cole. How many people actually call him Andrew Cole? He's telling us to call him Andrew Cole. We're calling him Andy. We're doing it.
Yeah.
So I have no issue with it. If it brings more money into the club, which can help.
Would you still call it White Hart Lane?
Depends if I like the new name.
Okay. So
we'll wait and name something absolutely shocking, and I'll be like, "Oh, that is awful." Just White Hart Lane, but
the Daniel Levy Nike Stadium.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
That would be somewhat narcissistic, but
really get Harry Kane to stay for life, and call it Harry Kane Lane. Harry Kane Lane, Kane Lane.
Harry Kane Lane, Kane Lane.
Oh,
he's getting a stand named after him, isn't he?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And probably Pochettino.
All right, we'll move on. After that brilliant news, we'll move on to the quiz this week. Quiz Perry, the former Spurs centre-back. Dave, I've sent you an image. And
have you?
This all came around from... I watched an interview between Rio Ferdinand and some of the PSG players and manager this week, and there's an odd interview which he held with Dani Alves. And Dani Alves spoke little English, and obviously Rio Ferdinand speaks very little Portuguese. And so it's one of his interviews where he asks a question in English, Dani Alves answers in Portuguese, and you think, did either of them, have they just cut out the translator, or do they both know what's going on? But Rio Ferdinand spoke about how gutted he was at the 2 Champions League final losses at the hands of Barcelona. And how United won the league both times, and Ferguson was like, yes, let's press Barcelona and let's win this. So I've sent you the starting 22 for the 2013 Champions League, 2011, sorry, Champions League final between Manchester United and Barcelona. And what were you doing at the time of this final, Dave?
I was very drunk celebrating my wedding.
You were.
We had it on at the venue, didn't we?
And you did have it on at the venue, yes.
Have I told you this story about how
Go ahead.
It was 1-1 when I had my last memory of the game, and I woke up in the morning to my new wife, and the first thing I asked her was, what was the Man United score? And the first thing she had to break to me as a married... Well, not the first thing, she got married on the Friday. But the first thing after the party was that Man United had lost.
Oh, that's a come down. Hungover, already a little bit down, and then it's like bang.
I know. And I have a very sketchy memory of that game.
So, say what you see, Dave, and if you see it, say it.
So the lineups I have: Man United in a 4-4-1-1, Van der Sar in goal, Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra, missing the right back, Valencia, Carrick, Giggs in the centre of the park with missing the left winger, Rooney playing behind the missing striker. Barcelona in a 4-3-3, Dani Alves, Mascherano, Gerard Piqué and the missing left back, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi in the middle, Messi leading the line, and 2 missing wingers either side of him.
So you have 6 missing players, a Manchester United right back, left winger and forward, and 3 missing Barcelona players, a left back, right winger, left winger.
Yeah. Okay. Gary Neville.
No.
Damn. Okay. Right, 2011.
Let's regroup. Right.
Yeah, regroup, refocus. Dimitar Berbatov.
Oh, this is going horrifically badly, Dave.
Oh, God. Who did we play up front in 2011? Was Cristiano Ronaldo there?
Oh, Dave.
Oh, no, Carlos Tevez.
Swing and a miss.
This is Carlos Tevez.
Oh, swing and a miss.
God. Oh, God.
Dave,
oh, God.
Who do you support?
I know. The thing is, I've got quite a good football knowledge until it comes to remembering stuff in certain years. Oh,
okay, because none of those players you've mentioned were even on the bench.
Oh, God.
Right, let's leave Man United for a bit. You obviously, you're a little bit too close to it. You need to step back. What about? Have you got any thoughts on the Barcelona lineup?
Jordi Alba.
Oh my
God. Pedro.
No. Yes.
right. Is he right wing or left wing? Right wing. I'll go with.
No.
Left wing. What? Left wing.
Pedro at left wing, supporting Messi through the middle. Right. Now we're cooking.
Now it's all systems go now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who the crap?
I'll give you one last guess, and we're moving on, Dave.
Okay, all right. I'm going to nail it. I'm going to get this one. Who the hell was Barcelona's left back? Come on, Dave. Think. Who would have been bombing up the left-hand side?
Yeah, he's a long-term player.
I'm sure he is.
125 appearances.
Oh, fucking hell. She's just making it worse.
All right, well, about the right winger. Again, played a lot. Scored a lot. One of my favourite ever players, actually. Really liked him before he moved to Barcelona. Oh, that's surprising. Only played 77 league games for Barcelona. Thought it was going to be more.
Oh my God. Come back to me later. I'm drawing a blank. A complete blank.
Okay.
This is what happens.
We'll move on.
Remember, it was my wedding party, damn it.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to the Champions League, the midweek Champions League games, and to help Dave out, I'll tell him the games who played here.
You can tell me the players, everyone that played.
Yeah, we had Dortmund versus Spurs, we had Real Madrid versus Ajax, we had PSG United, and we had Porto Roma. So we'll start with the boring game, the game I was most interested in, the Dortmund versus Spurs match. Spurs taking a 3-0 lead into the game, and I was somewhat nervous because we'd had a bad week. We'd lost to Burnley, lost to Chelsea, and drawn with Arsenal. And to be honest, last time we'd played well was probably early January, probably the Man United game when Spurs actually played well. We still lost that one as well. So Well, I suppose obviously we played well against Dortmund, but outside of that, so I was nervous thinking, oh, if they get an early goal, yeesh. But we weathered the storm. But Dortmund did come out flying. Did really well. 35 minutes created. Is it 10 minutes in? Jan Vertonghen makes an absolute blinding stop, covering for Davinson Sanchez, who's been a little bit erratic recently, missing a few clearances, much like in the Arsenal game, which led to Ramsey's goal. But Lloris made some good saves, and after 35 minutes, it seemed like Dortmund's a little bit out of ideas. We started to have some possession, knocking it around a bit, and just went into half a little bit more settled. And when we came out, probably, I can't remember, like 3-4 minutes in, Eriksen tries to put Kane through, gets blocked. Sissoko somehow manages to find a pass and puts Kane through. Kane finishes, boom, 4-0 with an away goal, meaning they need to score 5, all done.
Yeah, I think Dortmund were very reliant on the situation of scoring an early goal. And you could see that once that didn't happen, like you said, their game plan fell apart. They ran out of ideas. And then, as soon as Kane scores just after half-time, it's game. Scoring 5 against a team like Spurs is very, very unlikely. And
yep, absolutely.
I think over the 2 legs, Spurs did a very professional job. It's sort of the thing you can call it, really. And, for the title race and everything like that, I mean, I want to catch Spurs in the league, but you're obviously hoping this reignites your league, really, and sets Kane up again and everything like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, Ali's coming back now, which will help Eriksen, because I think Ali, when you're playing kind of Wanyama, Sissoko, Winks, there's not many driving runs forward, but Ali stretches the game and creates space for Eriksen, who's been he's been very poor the last a few weeks. But it's hopefully it was a tough game Spurs have got against Southampton. We've got a good record against them, but they're fighting for their lives. They're just above relegation zone. So, hopefully we need to win against Southampton, and we can kind of go into our extended break with some positivity.
Yeah,
build on this performance. But I agree. Really professional. We've got Dortmund's number. Beat them home and away last season.
Yeah,
the group home and away this, and really, really professional and. Really nice to see us defend as a unit, because often you don't. If you don't play in the Champions League and you're a decent Premier League side like we are, you don't often see the backs against the wall stuff. Often we go toe to toe with the Man Cities and Liverpools. Rarely do you see us bed in and defend for our lives. So it's quite nice to see, and we did it well. And so I was very happy after that match.
Good. I've got 2 questions for you as a Spurs fan.
Yep.
Now, obviously, the times these games are on, I generally only watch the highlights, so I get a bit of a break-up and don't get to see everything. Has Moussa Sissoko turned a corner? Because he really looks like, in the highlights I've seen, that he is fully redemption from this rubbish signing that you overpaid
100%.
into actually looking like he could be back in the French national squad and playing really well. Is that right?
100%. I would probably put him down as my player of the season.
Wow, okay.
He has been... I mean, if you kind of youth teams when you got the most improved player, 100% that. But he has stepped in and he delivers some really solid, impressive performances. He keeps things simple. He will shield the ball well in central midfield. He'll drive forward with a driving run. He'll track back well, although he didn't for Ramsey's goal, which annoys me. But he is so far away from the player that he was when we signed him, and I think we really signed him as a kind of right winger. I think we didn't get Sadio Mane. Liverpool offered more money, and so we were like, right, well, we need a fast, all-action player, and we signed him, and he played right wing a few times, but now he's come in, and he's so strong, he's so physically impressive, but he's now got confidence in playing the ball as well. Previously, he really just knocked the ball backwards and didn't do anything. But now he has confidence to move the ball forwards, either at his feet or the pass. He is night and day between what he was previously.
Yeah, excellent. And then the second question, it's generally one for you and all the listeners, I guess. Is Harry Kane the best striker on the planet at the moment? Because that finish was like, I know he's not been brilliant in form, but that finish was unnervingly good. One chance, one goal, top corner, keeper's got no chance.
Yeah, it's so clean and composed, wasn't it?
Who else would you, if you had a through ball going through, name another striker you would want it on it other than Harry Kane?
Aguero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not other than, but now I'm thinking
alongside.
So
you're definitely not going to miss.
Yeah. Suarez is a funny one. Suarez is blows hot and cold. The man has missed something like 25 clear-cut chances in the league of this season. It's just he really does. He's one of those. I mean, it's almost in his play, isn't it? He's manic, erratic. It's just it's not. There's a lack of kind of real consistency there. Lewandowski, I think, has got to be put up there because he just consistently does it. And in this season, he's scoring lots of goals. But yeah, Harry Kane has got to be in your kind of top 3 strikers in the world. Your big number 9, Evo's number 10.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Well, let us know down below if you've got any thoughts on that. Obviously, 2 questions I've asked Josh. If we've got some Spurs fans that listen, then let us know what you think about Sissoko and Harry Kane. Yeah. Good.
All right, we'll move on now we'll break up the play a little bit. We'll go from English club we'll go to the Tottenham Hotspur of Holland. We'll go to Ajax. So Real Madrid versus Ajax. Both have Spurs links, actually. Real Madrid, obviously, Modric and Bale. Ajax, we've stolen new players. Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Davinson Sanchez, Christian Eriksen. So, what a...
Can we all just take a moment? Can we just take a moment to laugh at Sergio Ramos? Picking up a deliberate yellow card to miss this game and then get knocked out. So all he does is he misses the next leg, doesn't he? The first game of the next year's Champions League or something as well.
Yeah, it's the first group game, yeah. Do you know what makes this all the more sweeter, Dave? He's got a documentary crew following him.
No.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
When he was watching the Real Madrid match, he was there in a box with a documentary crew with him. This documentary is going to... the speculation that Solari out, Jose Mourinho in. Jose Mourinho had a massive falling out with Marcelo, with Ramos. So Casillas comes in. This documentary is perfect. What timing for it?
I didn't know that. That would be absolutely amazing if that does happen. But anyway, back to the game. Ajax, incredible.
It really was just scintillating stuff. Dusan Zinedine Tadic was... you would have thought that there's a second Dusan Tadic in the world of football if you were a Southampton fan. I mean, Southampton didn't play the way that kind of complements Dusan Tadic. I think he needs those forward runners, that free-flowing attacking football, which he can kind of be part of. But we talk about Sissoko's progression. Dusan Tadic, man alive! The assists, the goals, it was just...
I think it shows... It's a prime example of the fact that you need to have the right team and the right manager. You can't just be a good player and plonked into a team and... Messi moving to Stoke or something. He's not going to score... He'll probably be great, but he's not going to score as many goals because it's not Barcelona. And it's like...
No, you look. There's fluctuations in the season. There's times when he has played that season where he scored that calendar year, wasn't it? He scored something like 90 goals or something.
Yeah.
There's something went right that season, and whether it's the players, the system complements them. So Dusan Tadic now is just my goodness.
And wasn't he? I think he was one of 2, maybe 3 players in that Ajax team that was over the age of 29 or something, or 28. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of that's a good point there, because Ajax, when United beat them in the Europa League a few years back, they have just a kind of explicitly young side.
Yeah.
But now they have bought a few kind of older heads to go with it and spent a bit of money. So obviously they bought Daley Blind, Dusan Tadic. They've kind of got back Huntelaar. They've got those kind of older players. Nicolas Tagliafico. They got those older players who they can spend a bit more money on because they do sell their young players for absurd amounts of money. So they got the young players coming through the youth system, and then they got the older players who they can kind of complement it, and it's really working for them. I know they're not top of the
Eredivisie,
Eredivisie, but the way they play, they're scoring lots and lots of goals. It's really, really impressive to see. And I mean, they just put Real Madrid to the sword, didn't they? And it's been a hell of a week for Real Madrid because it's kind of derby weekend last weekend around the globe. So Roma lost their derby match and then knocked out of the Champions League. Saka manager. Real Madrid lost 2 derby matches in the cup, in the league, and then knocked out of the Champions League. Spurs drew their derby match and went through in the Champions League. So, but Real Madrid have effectively gone out of the cup, gone out of their league title race, and out of the Champions League in 1 week, all at home. So
it's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's gone are the days of. Can you remember when you got drawn like against Madrid? It was like the one team you never wanted to. Well, obviously, you don't remember as a Spurs fan, but in the Champions League back in the day, it was like the one team that you never ever wanted to get drawn against, Real Madrid, when they had like Beckham, Zidane, Figo, Roberto Carlos, that sort of era. It was just, you feared the life out of what the result could be, and it's just. It is only 3 games, but it's such a defining 3 games. They seem a world away from what they used to be as a club. And I don't know. I know there's always presidential like riffs and arguments when it comes to voting time, and it's always, I'm trying to remember who's currently the president there. It's always him and Perez, I think the other guy is, that are always mouthing off.
Perez is
Florentino Perez, and they're always mouthing off against each other, and it's just it's horrible to see it because they used to be such a good club, but it's also really funny.
I think there's also the combined impact of Ronaldo out and Zidane out, because I'll run you through the performance in the Champions League pre and post both. So this was posted on Reddit by Are You OK Buddy, and I thought this was just fascinating. So before Ronaldo, the 5 seasons before Ronaldo joined, they so 04-05 to 08-09, they went out in round of 16 each time in the Champions League. Ronaldo joined in 09-10, they went out in round of 16 again, but for the next 5 seasons it went semi-final, 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 winner, semi-final. So Ronaldo's made a difference, I mean, broadly. We then have Zidane joins in the 15-16 season. They go from kind of semi-finalists to winner, winner, winner 3 years in a row. And then after Ronaldo and Zidane both leave, back to the round 16 mediocrity that they were before. It's just it's just, obviously they're not the only factors in that time, but it's just kind of startling, isn't it?
Well, it's just how they, for a club like Madrid to lose someone like Ronaldo for the money they did, and you looked at the players they brought in with that money, and they were all sort of prospects sort of for the future. So Vinicius Jr., they brought in Diaz, who's 24. They brought in someone else as well whose name escapes me, but like that's not what we know about Madrid, and especially when it's Ronaldo. And you know, the man like Benzema doesn't have the support of the fans, Bale doesn't have the support of the fans, and it was just bizarre. They thought, I mean, who did they think was going to step up and take that place, take that mantle from Ronaldo scoring those goals? You
can't take 50 goals out of the side and still be the same. And it's just, but it is such. There's a big divide in the side. You've got aging players. I mean, you've got a lot of youth players. I mean, you've got Modric 33, Sergio Ramos 32, Navas 32, Benzema 31, Marcelo 30, Bale 29, Cruz 29. I mean, you've got a few players in the kind of peak ages of who are top level players. So Carvalho at right back, Casemiro centre midfield, Isco, Courtois, Varane. But then you've got, beneath that, you've got a lot of young players, and you've got Vinicius Jr. age 18, Brahim Diaz 19, Vallejo at 22, Reguilon at 22, Dani Ceballos 22. But there's a lot of investment needs to go, and I question, why are they that much of an allure now? Like Courtois, what's he thinking? Is he? He's turned up to the party and he's gone. oh. Well, people said this was a banging party. People said there's a lot going on. We're winning loads of stuff, and now I'm turned up and it's all gone to pot.
Yeah, and standing on his own.
Eden Hazard is there, and is there, and offers potentially around from Real Madrid. It's like, well. And same as Neymar, it's like, well, do do they want to go there? I mean, is that really the best club to move to at the moment?
It's just, I mean, it's just chaos, and it seems like a crisis. The word crisis is thrown around a lot in football, and normally it's all hyperbole. But can you argue Real Madrid are in a crisis? Like you say, the results they've had, the aging players, the dissatisfaction of the fans with a number of the players that are already there. I mean, if you're like, I'm just trying to think of it from a player's perspective, right? Likelihood Gareth Bale will probably be sold if there's a club out there that can pay his wages. That's, from what I've read, the only stumbling block of him getting a move is his wages.
Yeah, but have you seen the size of those wages?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I mean, Overmars made the point midweek that Gareth Bale earns more than the first and the two youth teams of Ajax put together.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's what I mean. That'll be the stumbling block if someone to pay his wages. They'll be like, if they can sell Bale, if they can sell Benzema, if they do get rid of some more of the older generation who they're probably going to get blamed for with the fans and stuff, because the fans don't normally turn on youngsters. That again removes some of the lure of Real Madrid. Like, why would Hazard want to go there if he? Okay, Hazard would probably want to go there to be the biggest fish, but why would he go there if they're already below Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and then they've lost arguably two or three of their better players? So yeah, it's a tough one. I feel like we've gone on a massive tangent and we're not actually doing Ajax a good service of the game they played. So let's get back to the game.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Ajax barnstormed, didn't they? They just went full throttle at them. I mean, some of the goals they scored were. I mean, okay. So we'll get on to the VAR issue then. So we have one of the VAR issues this week was the Tadic goal, the ball going out of play.
Yeah.
Or didn't go out of play, and. Since the midweek games, the UEFA have published analysis of the VAR decisions, which I think is a really good thing. It shows clarity and shows that the thought process behind it, and I think it's really good for all. So they said the linesman was well positioned and didn't rule it out play. The VAR footage for this couldn't conclusively say that it went out, and so they just defaulted to the linesman's view because there's nothing to contradict it.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfectly valid. People saying I can see the clear grass between the ball, where the ball is on the ground and where the line is. It's like the ball is round. That is possible that you can see that it's over, but it's not over because it curves round. So, there's no VAR issue for this. What are your thoughts?
A VAR in the Tadic goal for the Again, I think it got completely the right decision. I'm with you. I think that was spot on. I can't argue with it. Like,
no,
there's no.
It's just the issue around the time taken for decision, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. And like you said, there was no tangible evidence to overrule the decision on the pitch, which means the decision stands. So, that's the right way to do it. It just takes too long at the moment. That's the issue.
Agreed. All right. Yeah.
But well done, Ajax. Very nice. And
well done, Ajax. And
I don't know who did the bit of skill in the corner who absolutely skinned Carvajal. I've only seen a clip of it where he does the skill with a Rabona where they drag the ball all the way back and then send it around the other side.
All right, yeah.
Run the other side. Absolutely wonderful. If I can see it, if I can find it again, I'll link it in the description.
Oh, please do. I haven't seen it. I've seen Frankie de Jong's kind of put in. I think it was Vinicius Junior and Modric on his arse with a quick
that was great.
Shift. And that was lovely. Actually, one last point on this. Did you see Klaas-Jan Huntelaar celebrating after the game?
Yes, I did.
It's
what
like,
a hero.
He don't give a shit. It's his former club. He is just going for it. I mean,
it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
Because he's well after the game, and the fans are cheering, and he's kind of arm in the air, getting them to cheer again. And he does this like 5, 6, 7 times. Then goes to walk down the tunnel, steps down, comes back out, does it again, and then does it again, and another player joins him. It's like he is just milking it for all it's worth. So I quite enjoyed that.
Right, I think I've found the clip I'm looking for, so I'll put it on. I'll put it in a link in the description, and Josh, I'll send it to you privately.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's move on to another game.
The game.
Porto. Oh no, we've got PSG.
Yeah, PSG Man United. Woo!
Toy, take us through it, Dave.
An absolutely incredible game that I didn't think I didn't even stay up to watch it because I assumed we were going to lose and go out. So
I watched it.
Well, yeah, of course you watched it. It's a reasonable time for you, isn't it? It was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
but
I mean, but at the same time, it's like, well, I had the same thought as you. I was like, I'll watch it for the first 20 minutes. If I don't get a goal, then I'll stop watching. But I think after, 30 minutes, I was still watching. Yeah. There have been 3 goals. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like waking up to the text messages that I had rather than seeing the scoreline made me check the scoreline and watch the highlights straight away. So, what a day for Man United to get all the luck, catch Gigi Buffon on probably his first off day in about 30 years, and have VAR on your side. And have Lukaku hitting top form and everything clicking, all the youngsters playing well and everybody stepping up together. I mean, what was it? We scored 3 goals with, I think it was 5 shots on target or maybe something like that. 8 shots. 4 shots on target. Yeah. With 28% possession. It was just ridiculous. Yeah, the 4 shots we had on target were Lukaku's 2 goals and the shot that was
the shot which led to
by Buffon for Lukaku's second goal. Yeah, and it was just ridiculous. What a start, though. And I think that finish from Lukaku is not getting the praise it needs to. Because he took a very heavy touch to go round Buffon.
I was about to say, it's not getting praise because he made that much harder for himself.
Well, it doesn't matter. He put it in. I don't care.
He put it in, yeah, but it could have been... I was like, shit, he's gone wide.
Yeah.
And it's a slide-in finish. Yeah, it was a very good finish, but it's all his own doing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was watching, I was like, oh my goodness, very goal. And then normal service was resumed. PSG kind of clicked into gear. They had a few kind of attacks where it kind of flashed across the goal and then turned one in. I was like, okay, because Eric Bailly was having an absolute nightmare right back, and so then, but he made a change by off Dalot on, like a bit of Dalot, and it just kind of evened it up. Because then Ashley Young tucked in as well, and it just kind of made it a lot more solid.
I mean, it was I loved it. I loved it. Give him the job. Just do it now. Don't wait. Just give him the job.
Yeah. Did you see the Twitter user Timmy Chin? Did you see what he tweeted Ashley Young?
Yes. Is he the guy who basically predicted it?
Yeah, so before the match, Timmy Chin goes, honestly, got a good feeling about this. Probably either we get totally hammered or we really put on a show. Lukaku with 2, PSG comes back with 1, and Rashford fires home 92 minutes into injury time. Well, that, sir, is one hell of a prediction. And so really Ashley Young has said, please tell me you put that bet on. As well as a well done, I'm going to send you a signed shirt. But if you predict the score correctly this Sunday, I'll get you the whole squad to sign it. What do you reckon? Deal? I mean, now that guy has just been spending his last few days just going, right, what is the score going to be? Who's your game against? It's Arsenal, isn't it?
Arsenal,
yeah.
It's a tough one to predict.
So, yeah.
It is. Back to the game. I mean, when PSG... I think we scored... Sort of like Dortmund, we were relying on that early goal, and we got it, and I think it actually shocked us as a team how early we scored. And I think that's what led to PSG getting their equaliser as easy as they did, as well as Eric Bailly having a pretty shocking day at right back, like you say. But it was, I think you could easily fall away when that happens away at PSG, who haven't lost at home for God knows how long. And it was great to see the club not do that, the team do that, and carry on playing well. Yes, we got quite a lot of luck, and it was literally from one end of them hitting the post, we went up and scored again, and we'll get onto the VAR thing in a minute. But I mean, Marcus Rashford, that's his first ever competitive penalty that wasn't in a penalty shootout. That's ridiculous.
So I've got a question here. Lukaku gave last week. Didn't take it this week. Is there a mental frailty there that you're concerned about, or is it a kind of generosity you're applauding?
I think it's I don't know. My thought is that he may have been taken off penalties when he was having this bit of a stinker of the season, and Pogba was scoring them quite well. Obviously, Pogba missed his last one, but I don't know. I don't think it's Lukaku being generous. I think if he thought he could score,
he's been on a hat trick both times, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He could have. He could have had 2 hat tricks in 2 games and been an absolute hero, but I don't know, because he does seem generally kind of like
in this game
the way he.
If he takes that penalty and misses it, he is the scapegoat again for all the problems, and I don't know.
Yeah, that points to a mental frailty, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. Yes, if he was the designated taker. I think team orders have changed it so that he's not the designated taker. And in that situation, you don't give someone the ball just because they're on a hat trick. That is
but is he not the designated taker because of mental frailty?
I don't. You don't know. You don't. I can't.
No.
So speaking like a lawyer,
I think it would show a strong character from him if he was to take them, but
well, he's not now, is he? Because yeah, Pogba or Rashford are probably always going to be on one of them will more than likely always be on the pitch. So
yeah.
But what a penalty!
All right.
What a penalty.
My thoughts on PSG here are: the failings in this situation, I can't help but think is down to the quality of the league. They lack that competitive edge in that league. But I mean, how many times have they been pegged back in the last minute, having to search for their equaliser, kind of show that strong character? They're running away with the league. That I know winning is a little bit different, isn't it? It's just I think if they had a much more competitive league, like the top 6 in our league, where you don't go that long until you actually have a really tough game, which you're going to be challenged in Premier League, whereas you can pretty much go almost the whole season PSG without being fully challenged.
I agree. I think it is. I think their failings are the managers that have been there and especially in the Champions League have always seemed to make some quite odd tactical decisions at times. But I think their main failing is the fact that there is no competition in that league for them on a week-to-week basis. There's no one really challenging them, so they don't have to deal with adversity as a team and a squad. They don't understand what it feels like. Like that Lukaku goal after 2 minutes would have shocked the shit out of them. Because how many teams have ever gone to PSG in the recent years and scored early doors? It's like that early. It's ridiculous, and I think that is the problem. Yeah, I think that is the problem. But let's chat. Let's chat VAR then, Josh. What are your thoughts?
Chat VAR. So the VAR issue here was penalty. 90th minute. This is the explanation. VAR checked numerous angles of potential handball. Recommended the ref check footage because this was obviously a shot from Diego Dalot, and it was rising high, going over the goal, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
They checked, and the distance from ball to player wasn't too short, so it wasn't unexpected. The arm was not close to the body, making the defender a bigger object, and stopped the ball travelling in the direction of the goal. So a penalty was awarded. Thoughts?
When I first watched it in real time, I thought it was a penalty because it clearly hits his arm. Then I've watched it again and again and again, and I've said it's not a penalty. And then I've watched it even more, and I think it is a penalty. I do think the right decision. Now I've settled on. I think the right decision was there, but obviously I'm quite biased in this situation. But I do think he jumps and his arm is sticking out. It's not like when it hits your arm and it's right next to your body. He did block a shot. My only really contentious point is that he was blocking a shot that wasn't on target.
Yes.
But if that happens and Dalot is crossing the ball, but his cross looks like it's going to go out of play, let's say he was going to wildly overhit a cross and it hits the ball in the arm, in the box, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where that cross is going to land. Like you don't the shot was going over. Let's just say a bird flies over, it hits a bird and goes in the net, then it's a goal. Like, Pepe Reina would have saved Darren Bent's shot if it didn't hit a beach ball.
Yeah,
that goal you just don't know what's going to happen. But that's my main contentious point with it, is that I do think it was a handball, but the shot was going over.
Yeah, no, I agree, and because it seems harsh because you think, well, if it hadn't hit his arm, it's not going in, so he hasn't stopped a goal going in. But yeah, I can understand the decision, and I think I'm on the same page as you. Really, it's
I actually like the way
that
UEFA or the VAR team or whoever phrased that sentence that you said. That it was a shot at goal, not a shot on target.
In the direction of the goal,
in the direction of the goal, because it allows for that element of, well, you don't know what's going to happen after it if it didn't hit his hand, sort of thing. So
because often, sometimes a ball may take a deflection or it can sometimes have a really wicked spin and a real dipping shot, and so sometimes you've seen. I remember last season Christian Eriksen scored a goal against Chelsea against Willy Caballero, and he was only a yard, maybe 2 yards off his line, and didn't react, and it suddenly just dipped and went in. So you do not know the flight of the ball. You cannot project it. So you can't then start bringing that element into it. So yeah, as harsh as it is for PSG fans and for Kipembe, it's offside. But it was nice to see after the match. Lukaku went up to Kipembe and
yeah, it was nice to see him do that to Kipembe. Did you see how he celebrated in front of Di Maria when Rashford scored the penalty?
Well, no, I didn't, but he brought out himself, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He did.
Yeah.
He
all right.
Did. Cool.
Let's quickly touch on the final game. I have watched a little bit of highlights of it. Obviously, Porto ended up going through, and we had another VAR issue here. In the 117th minute, a penalty was awarded. A cross came in, and a Porto player was trying to get onto it, and there was a pull back. But the VAR was checking for offside, okay. And then they asked the ref if he'd seen the Roma player holding. He hadn't seen the Roma player holding, so he conducted an on-field review. He reviewed the screens on the side of the pitch and then decided it was a penalty from a tuck back from Firenze, and so penalty was awarded.
Correct decision for you? Happy correct. With
that? Yeah, I think it's just stupid from the player to tuck him back. He needs you cut back. I don't think he's getting the ball.
Yeah.
I don't think the tug stops him from getting the ball. I think the ball's the poor decision from the defending player to pull the player back. Don't do it.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah,
I can't really comment on the game. So I didn't even bother. I was so excited about Man United. I forgot this game happened.
It's just funny now that this time next week we'll be able to talk about the Champions League draw. Some sides will obviously be keen to pair up against Ajax or Porto, but maybe they shouldn't be so.
I don't want Porto. I really don't want Porto. They have a knack for big games and playing well and doing the gritty stuff really well. I want to.
Which is funny because they have an uncompetitive league, much like PSG.
Yeah, you can argue they've got Benfica and Sporting to keep them on their toes. PSG literally have no one. So.
All right.
But yeah.
That is the Champions League roundup. Well done to Spurs, Man United, Porto and Ajax. Yes. We'll move on to...
I got a wiki file. Here comes a wiki file. I got a wiki file for you. Hey! Okay, right. Josh has sent me a wiki file. Oh my god, you do pick utterly ridiculously hard wiki files. Right.
You reckon?
Say what I see. I mean, I find it a lot harder when it's one club that's been in the Premier League. Right. He started his senior career started at Nantes in France, 1990 to 1995, 130 appearances, 5 goals. 95 to 97, Sampdoria, 62 appearances, 6 goals. That got him a big move. 97 to 2000, Real Madrid, 51 appearances, 1 goal. Then he moved to Middlesbrough, 2000 to 2001, 1 season at Middlesbrough, 33 appearances, 4 goals. That got him the gaze of Olympiakos over in Greece, 2001 to 2004, 88 appearances, 5 goals. That then moved him to Servette, which I'm going to assume is France,
I think.
2004 to 2005, 23 appearances, 2 goals. And then he finished his career at Bastia, 2005-2006, 7 appearances, 0 goals. Am I looking at Christian Karambou?
Oh, he gets it. Oh, it's
Yes.
so hard. It's so hard, and he gets it.
Well, when I was reading through it, there's very limited amount of people that have moved from Real Madrid to Middlesbrough.
Very true.
And I remember him having big, crazy hair and playing for both teams.
Can you name any other players who played for both Middlesbrough and Real Madrid?
No. Is there an obvious one that I'm missing? Is there an obvious one?
Yeah, well, I thought of is Jonathan Woodgate.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But aside from that, off the top of my head,
No.
I'm struggling to think of anyone else.
Yeah, okay.
Because Rochenbach played for Barcelona.
He did, yeah.
Juninho played for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Jeremy?
No.
Jeremy.
Did Jeremy play for Middlesbrough? Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he had.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, good shout, Josh.
Jeremy. Yeah, he went from Real Madrid on loan to Middlesbrough. Yeah.
Nicely done, Joshua. Cool. So,
yeah. All right. So you didn't even need his national team stats. So he played 53 times for France. One goal was obviously part of their '98 winning World Cup side.
Yeah. I'm interested to know why was it only 1 year at Middlesbrough? I'll have to do some reading around that. Maybe you just didn't like it. Because it sort of drops off a cliff, doesn't it?
That year?
After Madrid. Real Madrid and then Middlesbrough, Olympiacos, Servette, Bastia. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, at 2000, he'd have been 30.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's kind of reaching the end of his career, but he doesn't... Yeah, not too many games overall, really.
It's not, yeah. I'm just happy that I got it. Yes, Christian Karen.
Yeah, well done, Dave. Well done, Dave. All right, we'll move on now.
It's gone better than the first quiz, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. So I stuck to the rules there. So let's talk about rule changes. So this week it was announced that there was 4, not 5, as we'll touch on, 4 changes to the rules, the footballing rules. They often make some minor tweaks and changes. And let's talk through them, Dave. So we have now. Accidental handball goals won't stand. So this is somewhat linked. A point we can link it to is the Aguero goal recently, where he was sliding in, and it touched his hand. Kind of touched his hand. Kind of, he had to have so many looks at it to see if it touched his hand. Now that wouldn't stand because it's touched his hand. But what I need to clarify is this. Just from attacking players, or is this defending players as well?
Well, I would assume with the defending player, you would give the advantage of the goal being scored. Because if it's not an advantage and a goal isn't scored, it's a penalty, surely.
Yeah, so but is it the fact that every time it hits the hand now, it is considered a penalty?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Rather than...
Yeah, that's a very good point. I don't know. I would assume that's what they're aiming towards, yeah. Just to say if it hits the hand, it's a foul.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a thinker, that one, Josh. That's a thinker.
It is, yeah.
So...
I mean, there's a few here which really do make you think, and it needs to be a lot more explanation around from what I've seen so far. So... We now have the next rule is substituted players can leave the field of play anywhere. So rather than you get it's the 90th minute, ball comes up, and then about a minute later, the 91st minute, a player gets substituted. He's by the corner flag, trudges over to the halfway line, trudges over and goes to the tunnels. Now, stop time waiting. When a player is taken off, he'll no longer have to leave the field at the halfway line, and instead can leave the pitch at its nearest point. So we'll now have players getting subbed to make sure they're at the centre circle, so they're furthest point away from the edge of the pitch. But
or you'll get that thing where
duck off.
They will be on the opposite side of the pitch and walk towards the dugout, and then have that. Oh yeah, no, I can go off anywhere and start walking backwards. Yeah. That's what'll happen, I think. So, I agree with that rule though. I think that's a good rule. I think it's not like amateur football where the ref always asks you if you're on the side of the pitch. Oh, can you take your shirt off because I'm struggling to count how many people are on the pitch. I think enough people will know that if you're bored and name has been announced that you're being substituted, and you walk back on the pitch, people will probably question the decision. So I like that decision, that they can walk off anywhere on the pitch. That's good.
Yep. Actually, it just reminded me of you saying about the counting players. I noticed during the week, and I don't remember seeing it very frequently, is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to wear a bib on the touchline for United because he was wearing a black jacket and she was playing in black.
It happened when we played Real Madrid as well, I think, and they were wearing a black kit. That teams have to wear their kit a certain amount of times. They had a black Champions League kit when we played them, and the subs warming up in the sideline had to wear a bib because their tracksuit tops were black. So yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay. This third rule, now this is one that's confusing me. I don't know how it's going to be managed. No attacking players in the wall. Okay, this is to stop the attacking players disrupting the wall, kind of all that barging, shoving. So the rule is attacking players must be at least 1 metre away from the wall. Right. Now, how are you going to manage? I mean, where are you going to take a 1 metre ruler with them all around all the time?
I don't know. They have enough trouble keeping players 10 yards away from the ball.
Yeah.
For a free kick, yeah.
10 yards away, 1 metre, let's choose. Let's go metric, people. All right? Can't be using yards and metres. The issue that was raised during the week was, is there a possibility that defending sides can set up a number of mini walls and so they can force the attacking players away from any danger zone?
Yeah, stagger your walls left and right 1 metre apart.
Oh yeah, you just have
brilliant.
Yeah, you have to go. What you have to do if you were 1 metre 99 centimetres apart, a player couldn't be in the middle of it because he'd be
yeah.
And if you have two players and they've got to all disperse around it, and so I understand what they're saying. No players in the attacking wall, no kind of disruption. I presume they're just going to be just get away from him. Don't go right next to him.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll do. Yeah, I think that's what they'll do. It'll be interesting.
Which I don't mind.
Give Hugo Lloris a metre ruler to keep behind his goal so he can run out and be like, he's a metre. Yeah. He's a metre close.
Yeah. Or they take a person with them who has their shoulders are 1 metre broad, and so they've got to run through the gaps, and if they budge anyone, they've got to stay at that point.
The gauntlet at free kick to running the gauntlet.
Oh, here comes the metre man.
That would be amazing.
Or he has to wear, if you can't get one who fits it, you have to get someone to wear a kind of metre cube or a metre circle, a metre cylinder, and so perhaps
a metre cylinder.
The cylinder man, yes.
Josh, I want you in charge of the rule changes. That's what I want. I want you in charge of it.
That's what all mascots must be in the form of a metre diameter cylinder.
Yeah.
Come onto the field of play and run through the walls to make sure everybody's a metre away.
Brilliant.
All right. The last rule is that coaches will now receive cards. Currently, coaches only receive verbal warnings for misconduct, but the change will see them receive yellows and red as players do.
I thought they did get a red card when they got sent to the touchline. Sent away from the. That's not a verbal warning, is it? Oh, for misconduct.
No, I've seen as a Premier League versus FIFA ruling.
Okay.
But all reasonable positive movements. But the one that wasn't a rule. So this was all the rule that was mooted to be coming in was that if a penalty is almost like similar to a penalty shootout. Now it was mooted that once a player strikes the ball and is saved, hits the post, when it comes back in that it cannot be tucked in as a rebound. It effectively is a dead ball after that. Which I don't mind as a rule, to be honest with you, but it's rubbish. Not coming into play.
Absolute rubbish. Why would you want to?
You don't like it?
No. If it's saved or hit the post or something, a fair game. Get it on it. Why not? I mean, it's
You're giving them a second chance. You're giving the advantage to the attacker again. The keeper's made a save, and I wouldn't be against it. But it's not so.
I like change, but I think that's too much change, in my opinion.
All right.
Too much change too quickly. So, but it's not in, so it doesn't matter.
No,
so
but I'll tell you what is in.
Yeah, what's in?
The answers to your quiz will be in a second, Dave. Come on.
Yeah, Pedro at left wing. He's in.
Yeah, he's in.
Definitely in.
Right, so there's the rule changes. Anything else to add on the rule changes? Are we?
No, I think we're good.
We've
done.
covered that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to the answers to this week's quiz, Perry. Dave was tasked with naming, basically filling in the gaps of the 22 players to start the 2011 Champions League final between Manchester United and Barcelona. I think it was at Wembley, wasn't it? This one?
It was at Wembley.
So Dave had to fill in the gaps, which were Barcelona's left back, their left winger, their right winger, Manchester United's right back, their left winger, and centre forward. Dave is a Man United fan, in case you don't know. Big United fan. Had a season ticket for a while, didn't you, Dave?
I did,
so he knows everything there is to know about Man United. But so far, Dave's had about 5 guesses and has named only Pedro right. He's not named a single United player right yet. But that's all about to change because Dave has had his pen and paper for the last hour and he's going to tell me what has gone on. So, Dave.
Yes.
Manchester United right back, Manchester United left winger, Manchester United centre forward, Barcelona right winger, Barcelona left back. Hit me.
Right. I've gone with the tactic of naming players that I think are
in the team,
in the squad.
Oh, that's
that
good.
era.
Oh, that's a good tactic.
Right. So the only other right back I could think of was Raphael at that era.
Oh shit! Christ, Dave.
Is he not right back?
You're close, but you're not right.
Oh, it's not. Is it Fabio?
It is Fabio.
He was. Raphael was the better twin.
Well, yeah. Now you know why you lost it.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so I've got the right back.
Okay, so we have Fabio.
Eventually, I got there.
Yes. Okay, so left wing.
Okay.
It's a big match. Who does Fergie trust in a big match to play on the wing?
I was going to say Ji-sung Park, and I can't remember.
Well, you'd be right if you said that.
Okay, so it's Ji-sung Park. But was it the year before that he left him out and said it was his biggest regret?
Oh, yeah, it would have been.
That's what was confusing me.
Yeah.
That was what was confusing me, whether it was this one or that one. Because if I had it like that, I would have put... No, I wouldn't have put Giggs out wide because he had lost his legs then, hadn't he? And he needed people to track Alves slash Mystery Man on that wing.
Mystery Man on the wing, yeah. All right, okay. And then so you started up front. Who did you start up front in that era?
Not Dimitar Berbatov, I'll tell you that much.
Not Dimitar Berbatov, but I can. If you need a clue, I've got a good one for you.
Go on, give me a clue.
This player still plays in the Premier League.
Oh, Javier Hernandez.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I was really drunk that night.
Yeah. Okay. So we then, I presume it wouldn't be a game that you'd then go back and watch because it's not exactly a happy memory.
No.
Okay, so we have a Barcelona left back needs naming. You've named left winger and Pedro, and a right winger.
Okay, right winger. I'm gonna go attacking first because I think I remember more players of that era, and I've got a feeling I didn't name this guy when you first asked me this question because I would have thought he would have assumed to play centre forward, like through the middle. I'm gonna go David Villa.
David Villa, yes, please.
Yeah.
And now I think I always remember him playing left wing.
Yeah, so do I. So
maybe it's just the Wikipedia page has got it somewhat
which means
up.
Pedro would have been on the right and Villa would have been on the left. So technically I was right at the beginning of the quiz.
All of the front three scored in the match. Pedro, Messi, David Villa.
Yeah.
And so, at left back.
This is gonna hurt because I don't think I'm gonna get this.
Same nationality as Manchester United's left back.
Patrice Evra's French. Who is French? Oh, he got a really bad injury or something. He had surgery.
Yes, he had a hole in his heart, maybe. No, he had a liver transplant.
Liver transplant. That was it. Abidal. Eric Abidal.
Yes, Eric Silva Abidal. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, God. I remember World Cup in 2006. I was watching it with a previous host of this podcast, Owen East, and I remember saying, Eric Abidal is an outstanding left-back. He will have a cracking game. He turned out a very, very poor performance, and Owen's never trusted me on rating French left-backs ever since.
Have you rated one ever since, or did you go out? Did you?
I mean, I've in my head. I don't verbalise my thoughts on French left-backs.
Okay.
Since then.
Well, I got there in the end.
I'm not giving you any credit for that, Dave. That was piss poor.
You're not giving me credit? Oh, okay. I mean, right. Mitigating circumstances.
The only one you got without you got one
Pedro.
without a clue. No, two without a clue. You got David Villa and Pedro without clues.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't get any United player without a clue.
Mitigating circumstances, Josh. I was hammered and I was surrounded by all my best friends and family celebrating the best day of my life. So I should really know more about that day.
Yeah. All right. Well, that draws a close to the quiz.
A better mitigation is that my memories of that day are completely filled with the happiness and joy I had because I'd just got married.
And
That's
now
a
my
nicer
mouth is
thing
filled
to
with
say.
vomit. So.
Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah.
All right. That brings a close to the quiz week's podcast.
It does. Yeah.
Dave, where can you find this podcast? Obviously, people listening now know where to find us, but what do they need to do? Maybe they need to follow us. They need to share us. They need to kind of get involved, interact. Where can they do that?
Well, they can do it on masses of social media because we are a social media monster right now, Football Talk. You can find us on YouTube. Just search for Football Talk and we will come up as the first or second option, or maybe even more now because we've got quite a good number of podcasts on the go, and you can comment on any videos that are there. You can let us know your thoughts, let us know if we're shit, let us know if we're good. We love all the feedback. It's great. And we'll respond to nearly every single comment we get, which is lovely. You can also find us on SoundCloud. Just search for Football Talk. But the big one, which Josh managed to sort out and broke the news last week, you can find us on Spotify. You just have to search for Michael Ballsack because that's the easiest way to find the Football Talk podcast, because unsurprisingly, no one else has named anything like that on the history of Spotify. We are the unique Michael Ballsack Google whack, I guess you can describe it as, with Michael Ballsack. So you can find us on Spotify. Again, SoundCloud and Spotify, I think you can leave descriptions on comments on both of them if you want to, which would be very, very much encouraged and welcomed as well. So that's where you can find us. Obviously, Twitter is the big one that I've missed out. Josh, where can they find us on Twitter?
At Football Talk, but remember, there's no A in football.
Exactly. All the links will be in the description of the YouTube video and on SoundCloud and on Spotify, so you can find us there. And Twitter will be retweeting our weekly poll that we put out. We didn't put one out this week because we're recording on Saturday, not Sunday. And there will be a update of generic good tweets. Look out for the Ajax skill that I'm going to link through the Football Talk Twitter. It's very, very nice. Did you watch it, Josh?
I did. Lovely.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. Yeah. And that brings the end. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, listener. I presume there's at least one. We'll be with you next week for some Champions League catch-up. We'll have the Champions League draw to talk through and much, much more. So until then, goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening.